What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel and you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. Week 2 of the NFL regular season. The Las Vegas Raiders have a tough matchup right here. We're going to be on the road against the 0-1 Baltimore Ravens. This is a matchup with both teams are coming into this game 0-1, and you can very well expect both teams to come into this game very motivated and with a sense of urgency to get their first win of the season. We know statistically teams that go 0-2, their chances of ultimately making the postseason do end up diminishing. So it's going to be a tough matchup for the Raiders. Let's be honest about it. The Baltimore Ravens are seen as a team that is a legit Super Bowl contender. They made the AFC Championship game last year, and year in and year out, they're just a team that you can pencil in to be in the playoffs. Versus the Raiders, this is the first year under Antonio Pierce. We still don't know exactly what we have with him. We still don't know exactly what we have with our quarterback, with our offensive coordinator. There's a lot of moving pieces for the Raiders, and unfortunately for them, they're going to have to get these things sorted out immediately if they want to even have a chance to upset the Baltimore Ravens. And now coming into this football game, the Baltimore Ravens are 8.5-point favorites. So that just shows that the Vegas sports books show that this should be a comfortable victory for the Ravens. So there's no doubt that this is an uphill battle for the Las Vegas Raiders. And if they want to win, they're going to need everybody on this football team, offense, defense, coaching, special teams. We're going to need everybody to be locked in and prepared for this one. Also, another thing to keep in mind is these 10 a.m. East Coast games historically have not been great for the Raiders. One thing that immediately comes to my head is like exactly 1 year ago, Week 2 of the 2023 regular season, on the road against the Buffalo Bills. Sort of a similar type of scenario, and we got our ass handed to us. I hope that is not the case for this game. The Raiders need to come in and be ready to compete and execute on both sides of the football. So look, let's just talk about what the Raiders need to do to upset the Baltimore Ravens, what they need to do in order to have a chance, in my opinion, to win this football game. And now the first thing that we're going to start off with is the offensive side of the football, because that was by far the weakest link that I saw week 1 with this football team. Gardner Minshew didn't really look good out there, especially after that fumble. It just really looked like he lost all confidence, and the Raiders offense just really fell off a cliff after that. We had 3 total turnovers. I'll tell you right now, the Raiders will not win this football game having multiple turnovers on offense. We need to take care of the football. And ultimately, last week, the Raiders were only able to put up 10 points. And in today's National Football League, you're not going to win very many games only putting 10 points on the board. And especially going against a Baltimore Ravens team that is loaded with talent on both sides of the football, that have an electric quarterback and Lamar Jackson, and a great running back in Derrick Henry. At the bare minimum, if the Raiders want a chance to win this game, I say they need at least 17 to 24 points to have a chance. If we get less than that, I find it very difficult for this team to get the victory, unless the defense just absolutely has a dominant performance. But that's going to be a very tough ask from this defense. So the Raiders need to help out the defense this week. They got to be able to find a way to put some points on the board. I would like to see if we can take some more deep shots down the field. And really a big part of if the Raiders are going to put up more points this week is going to be due to the offensive line. They struggled tremendously last week. They lost the matchup against the Chargers defensive line. They need to be much better opening up the holes in the ground game. We need to be able to run the ball a lot more effectively. Zamir White didn't look great out there. And honestly, when backup Alexander Madison was out there, he looked better to me. So we'll just have to see how the running back situation plays out. At this point, we're going to have to give the ball to whoever has the hot hand. And the Raiders are going to need to establish the run. And ultimately, the Raiders are going to need to hold up in pass protection if they want to take deep shots down the field to a guy like Trey Tucker. And lastly, I want to see how Luke Getsy goes into this game, how he improves from week 1. I feel like his play calling was very vanilla, very conservative at times. So we'll just have to see how he opens it up this week. But there's no doubt we need the offense to step up big time this week if we want a chance to win. And now the second point The second key to victory for the Raiders, I'm going to focus on the defensive side of the football, and that's going to be how they contain quarterback Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, to me, is the most electrifying quarterback in the National Football League. He's the best athlete, arguably, in the entire National Football League. And he's a player that can just make plays with his legs. He's so hard to stop in that aspect. And the Raiders are going to have to find a way to try to limit him, to try to contain him. Truthfully, Lamar Jackson is one of those quarterbacks that will make a defensive coordinator stay up late at night trying to figure out how they can contain him. And I'm sure that's what Patrick Graham is going to be doing this week. The Raiders defense is going to have to find the best matchup to quarterback spy him this week. We're going to need a guy that has speed. It's going to be interesting who he puts out there. I assume we'll probably go with a guy like Isaiah Palomalu. If not, maybe they'll try like an athletic linebacker like Amari Burney. But that's going to be a key to this game because from an athletic standpoint, Lamar Jackson is so hard to stop. And a part of that is going to be up front. We need to be able to create pressure on him. And essentially, to me, if we can limit Lamar Jackson, if we can force him to stay in the pocket and have him beat us with his throws down the field as a pocket passer, then the Raiders definitely have a shot in this one. But if he runs for 100 yards or more like he did against the Kansas City Chiefs, if they allow him to escape the pocket and make plays down the field, whether it be with his legs or throwing on the move, the Raiders are going to have a tough time winning this one. I'm also going to need to see an improvement from this defensive line when it comes to stopping the run. Week 1, overall, they did pretty good stopping the run. But the thing that really killed it all was they gave up 2 big runs that made it seem like they got dominated on the ground. But you look at all the other snaps, they were doing good against the run, but you just can't give up 30, 40, 50 yard gains on the ground. That's going to kill everything. And especially with a guy like Derrick Henry, who's a running back that once he gets past that line of scrimmage, once he gets a head of steam rolling, it's hard to bring him down. So the Raiders are going to have to find a way to limit the ground game from Lamar Jackson and from their running backs and force them to beat us through the air. And lastly, for the Raiders to upset the Baltimore Ravens, we're going to have to get a little bit lucky. We're going to have some luck on our side. And ultimately, I think we're going to have to generate a turnover or 2 to win this game. The Raiders are going to have to win the turnover battle. I think that starts with us limiting turnovers on the offensive side of the football, but ultimately we're gonna have to get some on defense. We're gonna have to steal some possessions. I don't care how that comes, whether it comes to an interception, a fumble, which Lamar Jackson is prone to fumble the football if you can get pressure on him. So the Raiders are gonna have to find a way to steal the football, get this offense in great field position, or even better yet, if they can get a turnover that results in a touchdown, whether it be a pick six, a scoop and score, something of that nature. The Raiders are going to have a big play like that to shift the momentum, to give us a chance to steal this victory. But overall, there's a lot of things that need to go right for the Raiders to have a chance in this one. I think Baltimore is a serious football team. They're going to come in pissed off. They don't want to go 0-2. The Raiders need to come in with that same mentality, match them from an intensity standpoint. And also, too, that's everything being said about the offense and defense. But one thing I do want to see in this game is the improvement of Antonio Pierce as a football coach. AP will have to improve his decisions in game when it comes to situational scenarios. He's got to know when to be aggressive and when to be conservative. Last week he had everything in reverse. Early on in the football game, being in our own half, he goes for it on 4th down. But then late in the 4th quarter, when we're down 6 points and you're already past midfield, a 4th and 1 situation, all the analytics show that you should go for it. So basically a situation where it's kind of obvious, like, man, why don't you want to go for it right here? He decides to punt the football instead. And after that, the game was over. So we cannot afford AP to continue to make mistakes like this. He's a young head coach. I understand that. And it's okay, everybody's going to make mistakes, but he's going to have to improve on that. But overall, Raider Nation, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Raiders on the road against a superior team, in my opinion, from a talent perspective, from a coaching perspective. There's a lot of obstacles to overcome in this matchup. Being 100% honest and realistic, I think the Raiders are going to lose this one. But if they want a chance to win this one, these are the things they need to do. And you never know. It is the NFL. It's any given Sunday. Anything can happen in a matchup like this. So we'll just have to see what happens. But Raider Nation, I definitely want to get your feedback in the comment section down below. How confident are you going into Baltimore this week? Do you guys think the Raiders have a legitimate shot to upset the Baltimore Ravens? Let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.